This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
A totally new animated motion picture event.
Star Command, come in. Do you read me?
The story of two toys.
There seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
Hello?
Oh, yeah!
Headed for a showdown.
My name is Woody. This is my spot.
I am Buzz Lightyear. I come in peace.
You are a child's plaything.
You are a sad, strange little man.
And playing by their own rules.
Draw. Me again.
I don't like confrontations.
Buzz-looking alien.
Where? You're mocking me, aren't you?
Oh, impressive wingspan. Very good.
Oh, what? You can't fly.
Yes, I can.
Can't.
Can.
Can.
Coming soon to video. The adventure takes off. When toys come to life.
To infinity and beyond.
Toy Story.
Look out!
Can.
So the question was, why does Toy Story still captivate audiences worldwide?
It is an emotionally masterful work. The story is the mature theme of, self-realization, identity. Its main characters are, in order from most to least important, a man whose entire purpose is being replaced, who's been sent to the brinks of depression, a man who lost all of his identity, got sunk into depression, basically wanted to kill himself, and then finally realized he has another goal. It's also someone who fears being discarded, it's someone who's worried about everyone else, a selfish asshole, who again has to be less selfish. It's all those things. You find these in movies everywhere. And the entire story is well paced. It has a beginning, a middle, and end. You can tell when each one starts. You can tell when things are getting worse. Everyone goes through an arc. Every character that goes on that screen, if they have a single line of dialogue, they change over the movie. When's the last time you've seen that? Avengers Endgame. You look at Endgame and you see everyone start and end exactly the same except people who are basically getting fridged. I can tell you right now, Black Widow could have died off screen, no one would care. But Woody getting a little sadder completely overhauls the entire movie. When Buzz loses his arm in a darkest moment, you can feel just how devastating that is. It is very emotionally mature for a kid's movie. Literally, one of the songs is all about how your dreams sometimes don't come true and you just have to get over it. And I will go sailing no more. I wish to sail across the stars, but the dream ended too soon. There's nothing left. I will go sailing no more. When's the last time a movie tackled that? When's the last time a kid's movie, rather than just having bright colors in your face and, trying to overload your brain, actually sat down and tried to teach you something valuable, that actually tried to show you a good movie?
What about WALL-E?
WALL-E's another good example of this. Everyone goes through an arc. Granted, the dialogue is sparse for the robots, but they don't need to say much. Their grumbles, grunts, well, actually they don't grumble. And their very limited quasi-English is enough to show you what they're thinking. Their actions are enough to send you what they're thinking. There's a beginning, a middle, an end, a darkest hour.
Well, that could be also said for, Toy Story, when they're about to go into the furnace and they're all holding hands because they realize they're going to die. And they're they don't say goodbye. They don't say anything like that. They just hold hands and they're expecting for the end to happen, and everyone can feel it at that time. But also the animation from that time, from what was it, Toy Story 3 or 4?
I think it was 2003, 2006, 2008.
No, I'm not talking about when that movie came out, when they were going to the furnace. I'm talking about the very first movie that came out, I believe was in the 90s, and that was the first one to have that kind of animation.
So Toy Story 1 it was starting development in the 90s with CGI and the horrific Woody and Tiny Buzz, but
Yeah, so you had that animation. They were the first ones to really pull that off.
Mhm.
And then by the time you get to the second one and the third one and
you
the
could see
fourth
you
one,
could see the animation evolve.
but do you think that helps with that animation with the story arc?
I don't. I think the animation had nothing to do with it. Granted, not Andy's eyes not haunting me in my sleep is a lot more helpful. You know, not Andy looking also like a Woody doll, but the animation didn't change much besides what they could render on screen at a stable 30 FPS. Well, 24 actually, the animation standard. But the story carried everything. The writing carried everything. I don't... Actually, that is the exact problem I have with the industry. Endgame is beautiful. But what's the story? Can you really name everything that happened off the top of your head?
No.
Toy Story. Toy Story 1, I'm not going to comment on what it looks like, because, you know...
But you like the story.
Yes, the story is immaculate. I honestly want to watch it again now.
And then the second one, I believe it was all about Jess.
Jessie. Yes, it was again good writing. It was talking about abandonment issues and different ways to cope. She was essentially traumatized from being left behind.
And that's exactly what Woody was afraid of.
Yes, but of course, and Pete, he was left behind, and he decided, well, rather, he was never given the opportunity to be left behind, so he became distant. He wanted to be admired and immortal. Jessie just wanted to be loved again, and Woody didn't want to stop being loved, and, you know, Bullseye was just trying to keep everything together. But that also had good story. That also had good writing. I don't care about the animation, though it was a lot better. But it got carried. The third story is honestly one of my least favorites. One is amazing. 2 is amazing. 3 is alright. 4 is
Well, I love 3 because that's when Andy, all grown up, gives his toys away to the little girl. Like, now it was her turn to play with them. And that, to me, was so freaking special because it was such a heartwarming, and, I mean, I cried like a little girl when I saw that, because you saw how much they really loved each other. And then Andy saw how much he just wasn't playing with his toys anymore. And as much as he wanted to keep them with him, he knew he couldn't keep them with him anymore, and they needed to go to someone who would appreciate them and love them as much as he did. All the adventures that he had with them, all the different moving of the homes and things like that they went through, he was there for him, and he saw that in the little girl, which I can't remember her name, to be honest with you. Bonnie, thank you. He saw that Bonnie was lonely just like he was. You know, he saw that, you know, his sister had her turn, you know, basically, but those were his toys at the end of the day. Those were his babies, basically. Those were his toys.
His sister didn't exactly do very much with them. They were still rotting in a bin.
Right. So when he realized that, he's like, man, I want to let these go, but I just don't want to give them to just anybody. And he saw Bonnie, and he's like, well, that reminds me of me when I was that age. So I think she would enjoy, and I saw how she was playing with them, and I have to be able to let go. So while they were afraid of the abandonment, they were happy to go to a really good home that were going to be loved and played with just as much as they did with Andy. And they'll never forget Andy. Andy will never forget them. But it was either that or stay in the attic, right? Which is where they were for like the longest time. The fourth one I felt like didn't need to be made.
Yeah.
But, you know, Bo Peep and Woody and everybody else and Benson and all that was going through was just basically at that point, I believe, a cash cow. But it still plays on the nostalgia that people really enjoy with the idea of remembering. Like, I remember playing with my G.I. Joes and playing with my little army green men, you know, when I was young. You know, I didn't have the traditional toys, but I still remember playing with them and being and loved and played with them and did all sorts of things with them, and, you know, created parachutes and jumped them off the roof of the house, and I made my own parachute did not work, like the little green, like the little green Iron Man or G.I. Joe. But it was something that you did with your imagination, and I think that's why that also plays even now. Like we could watch Toy Story now, and we can still enjoy it. We can still laugh, and we can still cry, and still enjoy that nostalgia because that's what we remember as children.
And throughout all history, humans have had toys and games. I mean, even during our days of survival, we still put associated stuff with little trinkets.
Yeah.
Some people have found like thousands of year old dolls. No matter what, toys exist, which makes up some very interesting questions about if like a 10,000-year-old doll is still alive. But I digress. Thing is,
well, don't we all think our toys are alive though at one point or another?
Some do, some don't.
Yeah.
It depends on how much you're willing to anthropomorphize at all.
I think it has to do with imagination more than anthropomorphize.
Yeah, fair. But you can actually tell with, the entire how Pixar has evolved and their writing style, Toy Story's evolution. Toy Stories 1 and 2 were entirely driven by the main issue. The main issue for number 1 was we don't want to be abandoned, and number 2 was
replaced.
We don't want to get replaced, and finding your purpose. The second one was all about keeping your purpose and gaining a new one when you lose it. But the third one, it was supposed to be all about moving on when you're no longer needed and finding new purpose. However, a lot of the story was not what do we do when our purpose is lost or how we should move on. Granted,
it's about keeping it.
Yeah, it was more so about the horrors of the daycare. That's not what the story was about. You can tell what was supposed to be happening, Woody was clinging to the past, clinging to nostalgia. No, we stick with Andy. Only Andy. He's our owner. That's it. It's final, finite. Everyone else was trying to move on so they wouldn't get abandoned and so they could find new purpose. Woody was stuck, and everyone else was essentially trying to give him rehab.
Yeah, but how do you think those play today or even continue playing where people want to continuously show that to their kids? Like, I saw it first, then I showed it to you, and eventually, hopefully, you'll show them to yours. So I guess that's what the main question is that how does that play into people wanting to continue watching those movies? Is it nostalgia? Is it the animation? Is it the story arc? Is it the writing? Is it the combination? Because you say 1 and 2 were great. 3 was the daycare. 4 was like, why? But yet you still go back and watch all 4.
All 3.
Fine, all 3.
Mm-hmm. The fourth one was just the standard formula of toys get stuck in a weird place and try to escape. The story had no place.
Okay, fine. The first 3, you go back and you still watch the first 3, even though the 3 does have a really nice finale to it. You feel it has to do with the whole Sir Hug-a-Lot, or what was his name in it? Not Sir Hug-a-Lot.
Lots of Hug and Bear.
Lots of Hug and Bear. I apologize. My bad. I was thinking of the porcupine.
I'll get back to you on that one.
Yeah, I can't remember his name either. But my point being is, you still go back and watch that third one, even if you don't really feel that it's as great as 1 and 2, because it still follows the story arc. It still has a finale to it. It still has an ending to it, and it still has a story.
An 8.5 out of 10 is nothing to sneeze at.
And it still has a beginning,
a middle, an end.
And a very beautiful ending at that.
It didn't need to go any further. I would watch it again simply because I would watch 1, 2, and 3 all over again and show my kids and try to encourage them to show their grandkids, assuming I get that far, because it's a good movie. It's an actual story. The fact that I have to say that now is a bit ridiculous, but Pixar actually gave us a good story in a movie.
So do you think that Pixar had a lot to do with that compared to Disney, since Pixar became a part of Disney?
Yes. Here's what happened. Number 1, number 2, number 3, Pixar only. They were pretty good. Number 4, Disney Pixar. I can't tell you what it was about. Incredibles 1, Pixar only, beautiful. It was the perfect showing of, family life and what masculinity truly means, as well as who deserves what and when and how we are equal except when we're not. Number 2 was a disaster.
Would you say the same for Wall-E, being that it was...
I'm glad Disney never got their hands on a Wall-E sequel.
Okay, so you're saying that Pixar had that beautiful masterpiece of 1 and 2, and possibly 3, and for Toy Story. Then they had Wall-E. Then they had Incredibles. But then we have a sequel of Incredibles, and we have the 4th movie of Toy Story, where Disney had their little grubby hands on.
And
So you're saying at that point, that's when it became a cash cow versus the actual story.
you can tell in Toy Story 4, you see many leitmotifs of older songs. You see many returning faces. And it almost seems like some people got reset back to their default states. Like everyone got that Buzz mind wipe, and we're suddenly back to the number one's premise, kind of like the ghost of it. Like the echo of it left behind.
Do you think that's why people keep going back to those is because of what Pixar did? But then if you say that, though, what do you say about Atlantis? What do you say about movies like that Disney did have their hands on?
There is a very distinct difference between new Disney and old Disney.
Okay. So you're saying old Disney, like Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty.
I would say past Atlantis, old Disney for me,
Quote unquote.
is all even past like Tangled and other works like that. New Disney is essentially when they started buying out Marvel, National Geographic, and they began rapidly expanding everywhere.
Do you think that was the same time that they did Frozen?
Yeah, it was actually like a good year buffer between.
Okay. Because Rapunzel was pretty great. Tangled was great.
Yes.
I love Tangled.
Yes.
Fantastic. Beginning, middle, end. Great story. Only like 2 or 3 songs. Okay, probably more than that.
Well,
But
yeah,
not as much as Frozen. It's doable.
But
it's
even
relatable.
Frozen, dare I say, it was not that bad.
Okay, blasphemy. It was horrible.
Well,
Saw it
no.
once in theaters, and that was it. I could not.
It was bad, but -2 compared to -10.
What,
I will
what would
take
you
what
consider -10?
Soul
is beautiful.
Incredibles 2, Moana 2.
I've never seen any of the Moanas.
Good.
Incredibles 2 wasn't that bad. I wouldn't give
It was
it a
blatant
-10.
nostalgia bait.
Okay, but when you say Toy Story is also nostalgia bait?
No.
Why?
1, 2, and 3 have their own stories. 4 is nostalgia bait. 4 is all about callbacks and all about recycled formulas. 1, 2, and 3 had their own stories. Incredibles 1 had its own story. Incredibles 2, Bob Parr got reset and made into a douche.
So do you think that maybe the reason why people go back and watch 1, 2, and 3, or even the second Incredibles, or second Moana, or the cartoon series of Tangled is the nostalgia bait, and Toy Story 1 and 2 aren't nostalgia based, but 3 and 4 would be like, well, since we're already watching it and it's nostalgia, that's why we're gonna watch all 4?
Almost. 1, 2, and 3 are all good in their own rights. Just 1 or 2 are better than 3. 4, you watched. I can tell you right now, we went to theaters to see number 4 because we liked 1, 2, and 3. Not because of the promotional trailers, which we tried to skip at every turn.
So you're saying that 4 holds people's attention because of
it has Toy Story.
It has okay, and that's why people keep going back to it. Is because the name Toy Story was so good in the beginning.
If they made a 5, someone who's nostalgic for 1, 2, and 3 would watch it, and no one would really think about 4 very much. Lightyear.
Oh, Lightyear wasn't bad.
Well, yeah, it wasn't terrible until they threw out their main story in the end for a twist. Like, look, Lightyear's entire arc throughout it was, I work alone, okay, fine, but I'm still gonna work alone, and I guess I have to put up with you.
Well, wasn't Lightyear the main person that the toy was based after?
Yes.
So you can't put them together because the toy was a standalone
Well,
based off of whatever the manufacturing company
I'm
put it
not,
as.
I'm not doing that. Lightyear, as its own contained movie, is an inconsistent mess with no real moral, with no real story to it. Its story was that you should stop being stubborn and working alone. You can't do things alone. Its whole thing is that you can't try to fix things. Every time Lightyear tried over and over and over and over, he started literally skipping his life click style until his best friend withered away, and instead of turning back, he decided, let's keep going. If I just keep doing it, eventually I'll win. And then that brought him to his lowest point. But instead of realizing, okay, it didn't work, I need help from the 4 people who put up with me for some reason. You know, they're like the average D&D party. For a metatextual reason, I'm forced to work with you. None of those 4, and none of the 4 after, all 8 of those people put up with him because the movie requires them to put up with him.
Well, wouldn't that be said though for Toy Story 1, 2, 3, 4? Well, not even 2, 3, and 4, but the first Toy Story, where he shows up and he thinks he's real, and he's, you know, of course, there's that jealousy factor of being replaced, but he actually, that would be for Woody towards Buzz Lightyear, because he was the hottest thing that came out at that time, which Andy, of course, got as a birthday gift, and that's why, and he also liked him because he was cool. Not only did he feel replaced at that time, but Buzz Lightyear also behaved that way. He behaved like a loner, like he didn't, you know, like he was a new sheriff in town and he was going to be running things because he was used to being command.
Yes, he was, but there's a huge difference between Lightyear and Buzz. Buzz Lightyear, you know, the one from number 1. What even is that? Okay, sorry about that. Buzz wasn't, you know, the whole new sheriff of town, I run things. He had a presence and he made himself known, but his entire thing was, I want to escape, and if you're willing to help me, so be it.
Because he had a mission.
He thought he was real. He wanted to complete his mission, and of course he was working alone at the time, but he accepted help, and when he realized he wasn't a toy, he accepted everything with open arms, give or take a bit of depression.
And
Lightyear, he rejected people 4 times. Then when he was forced to work with them, he went off on his own. Then when those cardboard cutouts got phased out for 4 more cardboard cutouts, he again said, I work alone, edgy style, and then went. And then, instead of the main moral of the story being you can't work alone, and some things are just too big for you to deal with, it instead became plot twist, Zurg is just you, but from the future, continuing to do what you do. And guess what? Lightyear just kind of grows a conscience out of nowhere. By all means, with how he was set up in the movie, he should have became Zurg. With that stupid back-ass words logic, I guess, he should have became Zurg. I work alone and I get this goal. I can help you get that goal. No. Why? Because I care about the friends I've been pushing away this entire time and literally don't know the names of. Why? The movie requires it.
Yeah, and I get where you're getting at, but you need to also understand that Lightyear, the movie, is not Buzz Lightyear
Exactly.
from Toy Story.
Lightyear,
they do not exist in this. They do exist in the same time frame, as in the toy was made after Lightyear, but Buzz Lightyear was made as is by a manufacturing company, however they wanted him to be, versus what Lightyear really truly was as a person.
Well, why do you think I separated the names? Buzz Lightyear, the little toy, was a well-rounded character. Lightyear was hollow. The entire movie was hollow.
So do people go watch Lightyear because of Toy Story?
Yes. That's the only reason why you'd watch it.
Because nostalgia yet again.
Yes. Even it's not the token queer couple. It's not the the token bait and switch. It's not the no actual villains thing. No one likes any of that. Lightyear was advertised as the prequel to Toy Story, and that's what sold it. Every time people started reviewing it, they thought, if Toy Story was this good, maybe they're finally returning to form. They think, if Toy Story was this good, then what could this be?
Same thing with Incredibles 2. It was so great the first time, why couldn't it be good the second time?
How does Lightyear explain how Buzz acts? Mm-hmm. The answer is that it doesn't, by the way.
Well, that was a really good way of putting it. I will tend to agree with you on not just the animation, the story, the arc, the way it was put together for each movies, and how people can go back to those movies for either nostalgia's sake or because of the animation or because the writing, the story, and because, well, if these were good, then this might be just as good, and so people go for that nostalgia yet again. So would you say that all movies that are like that are all nostalgia based?
Most of them are. Some of them are genuine attempts to recreate the magic, and they kind of fail, but usually you can tell the difference between we tried and we failed and we didn't try. Lightyear, they didn't try. Frozen 2, it tried. Encanto, it tried and it did well. There's no sequel, thank God. Moana, it tried.
Coco.
Moana 2, it kind of did. Coco, it tried. There's no Coco 2, thank God.
Yeah, because that one did pretty good too.
Incredibles, it tried. Incredibles 2, it didn't.
I see what you're saying.
You can tell when something doesn't try. You can tell when there's the skeleton of a good movie, and all it needs is just a bit more flesh and to get it sewn together well. And you can sometimes tell when they just threw a skeleton at you.
Well, I think this was a really good conversation on, on all the factors that kind of go into it. And I'm going to go ahead and have this over to my friend Cameron.
My name is Draken. I'm a 17-year-old. And to everyone out there, don't buy Toy Story 5.
So I've been asked to talk a little bit about 1995's Toy Story. Now, Toy Story is, of course, important for all sorts of reasons. It's a proof of concept back when Pixar was going from commercials and animated shorts to a full-length motion picture. Back when it was supported by Steve Jobs of Apple and really kind of a burgeoning animation studio out of nothing. Remember, at the time, Disney was kind of pushing up through its renaissance. This is the middle of the Eisner years. And Fox Animation Studios, with its hits of Fern Gully and Anastasia and The Prince of Egypt, were pushing its well. This is pre-Shrek, so we don't really have DreamWorks. But this was an ambitious project because it was fully digital and fully computerized. These basic concepts go together, and they function because it is an endearing story. A lot of smart moves were made early on, including that the main characters would mostly be toys. This is important because early CGI animation in particular was not great at doing people, which you can see when you see Andy, or the remarkable scene of Andy's birthday party where everyone is just another Andy running around wearing different hats. The movie itself endures because it is cute and it is charming, and the story ends up being quite good. There are several settings. The big crucial settings are important in animation because then you can have different teams working on different things as long as there's a good character Bible. And that's why the aliens at Pizza Planet flow so well into, say, Sid's Nightmare Room. And overall, the animation is delightful. It was ignored for the Academy Awards for years. But now Pixar, I would argue, fully subsumed by Disney, is probably producing as good, if not better, movies than Disney. Though recently their chief, Lasseter, went to Disney and now has slowly kind of disappeared from existence. Overall, thinking about this film, I must have seen it 1,000 times. Made by Pixar and distributed by Disney, it never really went into the Disney vault, but that guaranteed us constant access. And of course, with sequels, No, I think the fourth one is completely unnecessary, and the fifth one, hoo boy. There is something charming about the characters. The casting is good. It's probably Tim Allen's best movie. And you fill it with comedians and character actors and people who can deliver a joke. Like great Jim Varney, of course. But this is not stunt casting. With the possible exception of Tom Hanks, no one went to see it because it was a stunt casted movie. And I think that's the lesson. I think that's the lesson that a lot of people get wrong about Toy Story. Having actors do roles is fine, but no one was showing up for a Don Rickles movie. It was just a part written for Don Rickles. The idea that Chris Pratt has to be in everything is just unnecessary. Or Jack Black. And I like them both, but it doesn't hurt. It doesn't help, rather. I would also just like to add that Randy Newman's score is fine. But other than You've Got a Friend in Me, Randy Newman just kind of needs to stop doing things. The song where Buzz jumps off into the air and they're talking about, you gotta fly too, is just awful. Or Strange Things Are Happening to Me. I used to really like the soundtrack, but rewatching it recently, it's just not good. But overall, what endures is good storytelling. Animation would have to be really bad to be distracting. And this holds up ultimately. It's charming, it's funny, it's quick. It adds human elements to inanimate objects and is in and out so quick you don't question the inconsistencies. I think it is masterfully done and a testament to everything that modern CGI is not. For the most part, computer graphics have existed to one degree or another since the 80s. But in the 90s, we were trying to test what it could do, and now we just kind of take it for granted. So what we end up with is directors who don't even compose shots. They just know that the CGI would be in there to fix it. This was clearly very rigorously storyboarded, and I've seen some behind-the-scenes stuff. I know it was picked apart to crap, but you can't do a lot of reshoots when they're on the budget that they're on. And thus, this movie was planned like a movie, not just putting a big old question mark that says, we'll figure it out later. This is why Pixar movies always look so good and feel so crisp. And so, rather than learning from this movie that, CGI can do anything we want, people should learn this is another way to make movies, and we should still make movies the same way. With AI coming available, we'll have to see how that goes, because once you start taking the artistry out of these shots, you end up with a lot of the mediocre CGI that's around today. AI is not particularly creative, but it is really good at emulating things it's seen. So, what we still need to learn is that Toy Story, while remarkable, is another step in the evolution of film, and that to be good at making film or enjoying film, you need to keep pushing past it. Thanks for having me on, guys. This has been Nick Hoffman of Myopia Movies.
Hello, I'm Ocho from the Drunk Discussions podcast, as well as the Ocho and Ortiz Disney podcast. Both of those podcasts are available wherever you listen to your podcasts. Now, I've been asked why I think the Toy Story movies have captivated audiences. And I think that's simple. It's something that we can all relate to, and it's transcended generations, if we're being honest. Every child grows up playing with toys. We all have toys that we grow up playing with. And most children have wild imaginations, and a lot of children think about their toys coming to life and what that would be like, and Toy Story explored that. Of course, with Toy Story, the toys only come alive when humans aren't around, and as soon as humans approach, then they go back to just becoming inanimate objects, voidless of life. But Pixar with Toy Story did explore that idea of what happens if toys did come to life. What sort of adventures would they go on their own without humans being the ones to have all their interactions for them? And the fact that there's been 4 movies and the franchise has gone strong for so many years, because it got started in the mid-90s. I want to say 95 was the first one. I do a Disney podcast. I should really I should really know when Toy Story came out, but I believe it was 95 when the first one came out. So the fact that it's still going strong after 30 years and 4 movies, I think just speaks to the fact that Pixar has been able to keep it fresh. They've introduced new characters in the different movies. So it's not, yes, you do have some of the original characters that you had in the first movie, but they also introduce new characters to freshen things up. They've progressed the age of the humans in the movies. I think it's the fact that they keep it fresh and they keep moving and they don't keep it within a certain timeline. And I think that resonates with people. So it keeps it modern, but it still gives people, especially of a certain age, who grew up with the first movie, it still gives them that nostalgic feeling while keeping it fresh and up to date for a younger and modern audience. So I think that's why it has resonated so well with people and why it's had this longevity of 30 years and 4 movies going on 5 movies, or at least I don't know if it's official that they're making a 5th movie, but I know there's been rumors of a 5th movie taking place. So I really think that's the key to Pixar and Toy Story's success is, you're combining the nostalgia as well as keeping it modern and up to date and introducing fresh new characters with each movie that comes out. So that's my opinion on the matter, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this episode of the Jacked Up Review Show.
Back to our regular scheduled program.
Hey,
we hope you enjoyed these messages.
We got 3 different chats in there. That was awesome. So we were just going to do kind of just a brief overview, long overdue overview.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Yeah. Now we're back.
After these messages, we'll be right back. Boom.
Just a great tribute to all kinds of actors, both comedic and actual comedians from past and present that assembled in the hit CGI animated studio that was Pixar. That is the Toy Story franchise. And
Tom Hanks is a pedophile. I know it's in the Epstein files.
Wow.
Kidding.
I know. It's just like, I don't know how to play off of that.
There's a snake in my boots.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess we're looking forward to the porn parody of Toy Story. But it is so funny. Like, it has captured the hearts of kids and adults, which is what any good story does. I think it was the second movie I ever saw in the theater. I'm not kidding. I think the first one was Swan Princess. My dad owned the space that was rented to that, also known as religious version of Disney, Nest Studios, and I think we got like tickets to see it back in the day, and I was a little toddler being taken along. Yeah. But I think Toy Story was like the first like actual movie I recall in the theater. I'm enamored from beginning to end, and it kind of just sets up the whole formula in animated form. It's like, take 2 outsiders, they don't much get along with each other. That the whole thing, when you base it down to the nuts and bolts of storytelling, is how do you get insecure characters to trust each other on a crazy adventure? It's just,
it's to me it's like it's like, here's Woody, who's the
the unofficial sheriff who therefore thinks I'm in charge of all the toys.
There he is. there he is, the toy that Andy loves, and then this new toy comes in, and it's like Buzz Lightyear, and he's convinced he's an actual freaking toy, and
Yeah.
he's convinced he's like this astronaut that's gonna. But Woody has to tell him, no, you're a toy. You can't fly.
Yeah.
You can't do this. You're just.
They reject our reality and substitute their own.
That's right.
Well, that's something we always kind of looked at when we were kids. Because you remember, if you had toys when you were a kid,
dude, yeah.
Did you ever wonder, like, when you fell asleep, would they be roaming around? Would they be,
as
doing their little adventures in your house or something like
with
that?
an active imagination as I had, I never really went there, but I did just kind of want to just think, hey, I watch kung fu movies, therefore I know kung fu.
I used to have GI Joes in my room, right? And I would put the GI Joes all over the place, and I'd be like, I wonder if they do guard duty against like monsters that come into my room. Like, does Wild Bill does the helicopter take off and I can't hear it, and Wild Bill's just flying around doing duty around the house,
Maybe there is an actual soul inside of them, even when their battery dies in these toys and dolls. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, or does my Star Wars X-wing and Millennium Falcon, like, they have something that opens up the window to my house and they go flying out the house into space and they come back again.
Absolutely, yeah. And
that's the one. That's the one thing I always wondered.
And I think that's what kept it so fresh. It was just so easy. Like, me and my brother would play various computer games based off this, and we didn't feel like the whole thing was being exploited because it's already merchandise based on something that has toys. So it was interesting. It's like I did the Toy Story Interactive Studio. That was fun because that's early CD-ROM era where repeating animatics would happen just to tell you what to do or where to go. And there was a Buzz Lightyear Star Command video game that was a tie into that cartoon show. So it was like, yeah, but it's so funny how this guy, he's just based on a movie franchise, and therefore he thinks, yeah, I'm living the actual reality. I'm like, no, if you do that, you're gonna fall in like a toilet or a paper shredder. Don't do that. Don't dive off there.
I think that's the thing that gets me is like, at the end when he realizes, okay, I'm not this, it's this realization. It's kind of like, I always say it's kind of like Zen-like, like you are something.
I love that.
You find out what you really are.
Yeah. Oh, and I think that's why it spoke to us outside of other cartoons, and it did good because you would see other movies that had just way too many just traumatic and frightening shit to start off and then be like, oh, it's okay. You got in the tissues for the kids. Now come back in. Is like, and they knew how to do all the drama without scaring people the hell away, having some scary moments without being a straight up horror thing. It was just for peril, but it's all good. And sometimes there'd be some comedy to it, or, hey, that guy who was freaking you out a minute ago, he's another weird toy just like you. They had some very clever just stuff that they all storyboarded. And looking at some of the other trivia, I totally forgot how, they didn't want to animate, humans if they could help it. And it was very more costly. So it does help that for the most part, you don't see the humans' faces, which only adds to more suspense. You see some of them, but not a lot of them most of the time.
Yeah.
It's their hand throwing something in the garbage. And it was always fun how we went back and forth as to which was our favorite. Is it the first one where they're basically, animosity? There's a lot of animosity between the two, or do you like part two where they made up, but now they got to do a rescue mission for their dude, Woody, and just great voice actors, rest in peace, Jim Varney. It's so wild how Casino came out the same week as Toy Story. Don Rickles is in both, and you're like, man. But I mean, I loved how, even though Toy Story 2 does the whole "I am your father" spoof, is like that's part of the joke, just showing how Buzz has all these other toys that are part of his assembly line, and much like him in the first movie, they believe their actual purpose is like, you do know firing these little things does not kill me, right? Is like, and so many other great voice actors, just Wayne Knight, Arlie Irving was the sergeant, was like, and rest in peace, Stella Harris. She was great as Miss Potato Head.
Estelle Harris and Don Rickles, and you got John Ratzenberger. And
He was great. Like,
and then you got Wallace Shawn as the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Yeah,
that took me forever to find that out. I'm like, I know that
Yeah.
voice. Oh, and again, he's like of all the guys who evolved, he's much like a dinosaur. He does not evolve much. He's like, I can't do much. I got tiny hands. Like, okay,
You know, and my favorite were the little minion guys, the little alien guys.
yeah, that yeah, they are the sheep who will always be the sheep, but it only adds to more laughs. I was guffawing when they snuck in more Easter eggs in part 3. It's like, yeah, don't you love how the garbage guy is Sid grown up, the human bully?
Well, when they did the one,
did you notice that?
No.
So just look next. If you ever see Toy Story 3 just playing on TV or streaming, just look at the garbage guy. He has the same skull shirt as Sid.
Nah.
So that's meant to be him grown up. He's a garbage man now.
Wow.
Sorry, you're gonna say.
But yeah, I think there is going to be a Toy Story 5. Oh Jesus.
Yeah.
And so I guess I was let down by part 4 because
4 had me in tears.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was rough.
Yeah, so part 3 almost did that to us just because of the factory
I saw
scene.
that opening night.
Yeah, I think we did too. I think opening weekend we were like, oh man, this is intense.
Yeah, because I got tickets. I was at that point. I was engaged to my fiance at the time. I went to go see that.
Oh, jeez.
And yeah, that was, oh man, that theater was packed. Because we went to Regal Cinemas in Harrisburg, and that theater sits on a hill by itself, so it's nice and wide open. And oh man, that theater was so packed. They had people filing in for the bottom rows towards the screen. It was that full, and there was no dry eye in that audience after that.
Yeah, jeez.
It was so fucking heavy.
It was. I guess I also dug the addition of Christian Shaw and Timothy Dalton.
Yeah.
He's the little hedgehog guy. But yeah, part 4 just kind of didn't really do it for me. I was just kind of like, it's kind of well-worn territory. I thought part 3 was supposed to be the last, but
yeah, me too. Like, it ends on a high note.
Yeah, I thought part 3. Part 3 was. I think part 3 was going to be the one where it's going to be like, okay, that's it. Yeah. We close it there, and then they do 4, and it's like, okay, what happens now?
Keanu Reeves was really giving as Duke Kaboom, but I
love that. I love that.
Yeah, no, he's probably everyone's favorite. I was just kind of like, yeah, I mean, maybe I would have liked it. I guess I kind of blame just the having everyone taking like 5-10 years in between movies. I'm like,
yeah, I get that.
But I mean, also good deal on. So I did see some of those animated specials they did, and I thought they contributed a lot to it, especially with Combat Carl, played by Carl Weathers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now Combat Carl's going to be played by Ernie Hudson.
I did hear that, like he's now taken over, but I mean, it was just so funny. It's basically just making fun of who do you view as Carl Weathers from Predator. This is him in toy form.
Yeah,
and the toy Story of Terror was just, I don't know, they just Pixar. I think I have respected kind of outside of the Cars franchise, which I don't think is too great, but
that was good in theaters. I saw
the first one was all right, but then part 2 kind of
that was more or less meters.
Well, I think overall Pixar just has my respect because they really do legit like well, and they have said for years, like they did it with Toy Story 2, they did do it with the first Cars where they're like, the story is not ready. No one's gonna like this. Give us another year to get the animation and rewrite it, please. You know, it's just for the better of everybody. And so they're not going to argue with them. Is like, yeah, these guys know what they're doing. And I think slowly, I would definitely praise Pixar for they were the ones who just told the studios, you respect your animators, you pay them properly, you don't view us as just making something mindless to put audiences in seats. We actually are storytellers. We just happen to be making use of a different format. And it just seems like every once in a while, now there's a bunch of CGI animated knockoff companies that fill the seats of streaming and Redbox, but it's like that they were the ones that made me go, hey, CGI animation is going to take off. It's not just going to be visual effects in movies. It's not just going to be a really cool video game or syndicated Saturday morning cartoon. Like these guys, without this, early DreamWorks is pretty good before they kind of sell out, and I can't do anything past like Shrek Free. I'm just like, yeah, I'm good, man. Yeah, like it's like first Madagascar, not bad, but then after that, I'm not really nothing really stirs the pot. And Pixar, I'm still behind on some of their recent stuff, but like I saw Soul, I saw,
I've covered most of the art books.
Just when Toy Story is one of their big highlights, but man, when you see them just coming out with this other stuff like Elio, and
I like that. That was good.
Yeah, it's just like it just took them years to, talk to Disney and say, hey, don't mess with us. We know what we're doing.
Yeah. And the thing I always said about that whole bunch of movies is that when we were when we saw it, for the generation that was coming up, they watch it and they're like, wow, this, it's an imaginative
my mother's
movie.
not into cartoons and she loves Toy Story. So that's a
You know.
rarity to cross over that many people. And the actors were just perfect because some of them were already established voice actors. Rest in peace to Mary Kay Bergman, Cartman's mom. She did some of Jesse's yodeling before, unfortunately,
Yeah, she passed away.
That's the nicest way of saying
the
it.
one
But
thing-
yeah, it's just like Tom Hanks grows as a voice actor, and you see him do it a little more often, and it's even funnier when you watch Galaxy Quest and both Tim Allen and Sigourney Weaver sneak in their alter egos. Like if you look at the computer screen, there's Ellen Ripley and Buzz Lightyear. I'm like, oh, how funny.
Yeah, there's the thing I loved about it too is that Tom Hanks's brother Jim
Voice
through that
all the spin-offs material.
Yeah, would do the spin-offs, but not only that, he would do Rusty the Boy Big Guy and Rusty the Boy Robot.
Oh, nice.
So he was basically doing that, off of his brother, and his brother's like, my brother Jim could do something like that, and Jim was like, yeah, I'll do it, no problem.
It honestly only works if it's animated because it does, just like you've seen all these other Pixar stuff like Brave and Incredibles and Monsters Inc. is just like, but Toy Story is like works so good is like, yeah, I bet it is terrifying being a toy. When you are ant-sized, the world is even bigger to you. Everybody's a giant, and you could be thrown away at any minute once that kid gets past 10 years old. And I think that's why it speaks to people. We all have hidden fears that we don't realize are our personal fears. And so they're mentally healing movies, but they're just, you get something from them every time you watch them. And boy, howdy, I am surprised I never wore out any of my tapes of those. And I don't know how I didn't do it. They would do just so many wacky things with the Etch-a-Sketch and just other stuff that is like many generations know what those toys are and what they do, and they know how to implement it into the narrative just to make a point. And a good cartoon can do that. I take it you guys have seen the Robot Chicken spoof. Let's see.
Think so.
Who would have guessed that, Seth Green and his guys would just make fun of cartoon shows in animated form?
Oh, yeah.
It's just...
Take care.
No, thank you.
Yep.
Hey.
We'll return after these messages.
If you like small town mystery, crazy news, and wild history, then the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast is for you. Each week, Josh Mills and Wayne McCarty bring you the absolute best Florida has to offer. So if you're looking for a show that's safe for the family, but funny enough to help you escape everyday life, then listen to the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast. That's Florida Men, plural, on Florida Man podcast.
Do you ever find yourself thinking about who would win in a fight between Goku and Superman? Hi, I'm James Gavsey, and on the Who Would Win show, me and my co-host Ray ignore anything important happening in the outside world and debate fictional battles between characters from comics, movies, and video games.
We got a new show every week, and almost always am I the winner.
Yeah, not true, Ray.
In the past, we've discussed such matches as Captain America versus Darth Vader, Solid Snake versus the Iron Giant, classic matchups like RoboCop versus Terminator, and even the Muppets versus Sesame Street.
That one was crazy. So if you're a fan of geek culture and love a spirited debate, check out the Who Would Win show wherever you get your podcasts, or check us out at whowouldwinshow.com.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up